Hey loves, let's make this V-shaped scrub neckline together. I've go ahead to make my initial neckline, which is 1 inch for the depth and 3 inches for the width. So aside of the initial neckline, from that 3 inches width, I'm going to go in by 2.5, and for the length, the new length, I'm going to be marking 6 inches or 6.5. It depends on how deep you want yours. So from that 6.5 inches length, I'll mark 1 inch. Then I'll use my ruler to slant to meet the new neck width and the new neck depth, just like this. Then after that, I'll use my scissors to cut the neckline out. So guys, watch the way I'm cutting it out, just like this. So I'm going to open it up to show you guys how it's looking after I'm done cutting it. So I'm going to keep this aside and we'll move to the piping of the scrub V neckline. So this is the material I'm going to be using for it. It is a satin material and I've got ahead to cut the width 5 inches, that is 2.5 when folded into 2, and I didn't measure the length. So the half inch on the fabric and the half inch on the satin will serve as the sewing allowance that we'll sew in. So we'll be having 2 inches left. So I'm just go ahead and attach it to the fabric and show you guys how it's looking like and how it's going to be attached. So this is the fabric and this is me attaching the satin to the edge of the neckline of the fabric. So we're going to be sewing half inch, and at the length of the neckline we're just going to come down by half an inch at that point too. So we're going to be sewing half inch at both sides, joining the satin and the fabric together, and I'm going to use my pin to keep it in place. So after pinning it down, I made a mistake by going ahead to cut my satin after pinning it down, which I'm not supposed to do so because I later have shortage of satin. After I've sewn it and I torn it, it was it wasn't enough at some point. So don't cut yours after pinning it down. Make sure you have sewn everything and turn it in before you cut your satin out to make sure that it's enough. So I'm just going to pin it to the other side also to keep it in place. Then I'll go ahead to sew it in by half an inch and stop a little bit down from the length. So after sewing it, here's how it was looking like. I didn't use a black thread to sew it so that it could be obvious, so that you guys can see it well. So look at where I stopped the sewing. I'm going to notch that part. So I'm just going to notch the both side of where I stopped the sewing at that end. So after notching it, I'm going to turn it in just like this, just like this. Guys, can see that there was shortage at this point, like it came out at that edge. So I went to correct the mistake by making the satin more longer, and this is how it's looking like after I've turned the satin in. Then I'm going to turn into the wrong side, and you can see, as you can see, there's a lot of excess of satin at the wrong side. That is how it should be when making your own. So you see that small space at the end, that's where you are going to sew in. You will cross your satin that you have turned just like this. Then you can now cut out the excess. Then you sew that little space at that point there, you sew on it. I will just use my pin to pin it down, then I'm going to go and sew it at the machine. So after sewing, this is how it's looking like. As you can see, it's very neat. And this is all for the V-shaped scrub neckline. You can then join your front piece and the back piece together, and we have come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll see you in my next one.